Hello, and welcome back to another episode of The Lifestyle Change of Dr. Tom, the PT Gamer Guy. Kind of sounds weird to say that, but that's what we're doing. This episode's going to be the first kind of summary episode, although it's going to be a little different because it's not like a weekly summary. More so, it's just kind of catching you up from when we started to where we're at right now. So the first couple episodes, we're kind of laying out the plan of the exercise and nutrition. So kind of starting with that, we started really back in December with a lot of this, or I did. I started back in December, going to the Y, trying to get back in that routine of exercising on a 5 to 6 day a week basis. I spent a lot of time in the gym, mostly just trying to learn what exercises I wanted to do, learn what kind of weights and sets and reps and everything I needed to kind of fall into that fit the time frame that I had available. As mentioned in the exercises, I'm doing a lot of slower repetitions, maybe a little bit more higher repetitions. But with that, if you do like say 25, 30 reps, it takes a lot of time. So I had to kind of pull that back a little bit. So a little bit higher on some weights on some exercises and lower reps just to fit the time frame that I had. So that was kind of a learning process in the month of December. But January 1st is when I hit the ground running. So really this is kind of a monthly summary because we're at the end of January now. So I kind of hit the ground running January 1st with the diet plan and the exercise plan. And I have to say the first month has been quite successful. If you check the Google Doc spreadsheet that I've got up, I am tracking my weight. I know weight's not really a primary goal of mine, but I do want to lose weight. I kind of figure that's going to be a secondary effect of what I'm doing. I am going to lose weight because I was overweight. So that's something that I am tracking, but I don't have a specific goal in mind for my weight. So the month of January, I did manage to lose 9 pounds. Now that's a little bit skewed because my first weigh-in was January 1st, which just happened to take place after December 31st, which was New Year's Eve. And we did have some activities that, snacks and foods and some drinks and stuff that evening. So I think there's maybe a little skewed numbers on my initial weight loss, but I'd still say I'd probably lost about truly 6 to 7 pounds in the month of January, with the addition of losing some New Year's Eve festivities, water weight. But January was pretty successful. We managed to go to the gym as scheduled, at least 5 days a week. I was mostly 6 days a week, truth be told. I didn't really miss any days. And really with the exercises, I've managed to, even in a month's time of doing this, so really I'm in a month into this, I can say I've already kind of seen some visual changes, just kind of looking at myself in the mirror. It's like, yeah, I definitely can see some things have changed. Even my wife has mentioned, yeah, shirts seem to be fitting on you differently. Can definitely tell there's been some kind of bodily change just within the first month. If, just cutting out junk food, eating a little bit healthier, cutting back the portions and the calories, more activity level, more weight training. Even in a month, I'm seeing some initial results. I really wasn't expecting to see huge changes fast. I knew I was going to drop some weight this first month, and I'm sure it'll probably start to plateau within the next month 3. It's going to level off a bit. But really, I was kind of surprised, to say the least, that I've made the changes that I've made so far. Wasn't really expecting that. So that's one of those things that it kind of motivates you as you see that and you see changes and you see the weight coming down and you feel better. You're like, yeah, I'm doing the right thing here. It kind of motivates you to continue and keep going. So that's been a plus, that's for sure. I mean, even on the weights and the exercises, I've noticed that I've been able to increase like weights and repetitions, and with everything I'm kind of settled on 3 sets of everything. But yeah, I've been able to increase weights and everything. So my Excel spreadsheet, as you look at it, what you'll see is like I had to kind of mess with it quite a bit, because if I'm tracking every single exercise, like the spreadsheet just kind of gets nuts and crazy looking. So what I did is I just split it up and just put current day and first day. So on the left hand side, you see like the first day. So day 1, when I started tracking this January 1st, like that's my day 1 exercise. Current day is the last exercise I did for that particular workout. And so I can kind of compare where I was at day 1 to where I'm at current day. So even if I'm like current day, like even for example, yesterday, just didn't have the best workout. Didn't feel the greatest. Didn't feel like I was able to push much or improve in terms of like weights or reps. Everything kind of stayed the same, which is fine. But then when you look back and you look at day 1, you're like, oh yeah, I was only able to do like a lot less on the reps and the weights day one compared to now. So yeah, I am making progress. So it's one of those just kind of gives you a reminder. So I guess in the month of January, really to break it down for you, what a day looks like. There's been a lot of snow and ice. So I shouldn't say we hit the gym every day, because we did have a week where there's a lot of snow and ice, and I think we missed a couple days. But I just tried to make those like my day off, my down days, because I am working out 6 days a week with one day off. There may be 2 days off just depending on life and activities. So with snow and ice, we ended up having I think a week or two where we might have only made it to the gym 4 or 5 days out of the week, which is fine. But a typical day looks like, get up in the morning, get the kids up so they can get ready for school, then get myself ready for work. And then I fix myself my yogurt and granola, take my multivitamin, and then off to work we go. When I get home, it just kind of depends on what time I get home. If I get home closer to dinner, I'm just going to eat dinner, and that's going to be like, I almost just use my dinner as my pre-workout. People always take pre-workout stuff. I don't get too much into that. My dinner is my pre-workout. So I'll eat and then go work out. We'll go to the Y, spend about an hour and 15-ish minutes there, and then come home. And then after that, I'll usually have a coffee with a protein in it. It's like a protein coffee shake thing. That's usually my evening snack. And I may have, I've kind of allotted myself one snack a day. Now, that doesn't mean I have to eat the snack, but I always say, I can have one small little treat a day as long as it's small and it's nothing crazy. So I might have that too in the evening. But if I get home from work a little earlier, maybe before dinner, I may go ahead and have like a small lunch or snack, or I may just have a protein shake then, and then have my dinner and then go off and work out. And then when I come home, then I may have a snack before bedtime. Early in the evenings, once I'm kind of the night owl, so everybody goes to bed, and it's, in the evenings, it's me and the computer, and I usually either I'm working on this, like the podcasting stuff with editing, or I may watch a show, a game if there's a game on, like football or soon to be baseball. Can't wait for that. I'll spend some time watching baseball, or I may just play a video game too, because like I mentioned, I'm into video games. So that's usually what my evening activities are until I wind down and I'm ready to go to bed, and then rinse and repeat the process. But like I said, there's been a lot of ice and snow, so the kids have been out of school quite a bit, so it just means you get to sleep in a little extra, but the routine looks pretty much the same otherwise with what I'm doing. Going to the gym, and really it's 3 days, like I had mentioned in the exercise episode, 3 days a week of an exercise plan that I just repeat it twice. So I'm working every muscle group that I'm working 2 times. And that'll change too. I know right now I'm keeping this exercise program until I feel like I'm getting to a level where I'm almost just needing to maintain, where I'm kind of maxing out of what I can do with this program. Now, that's going to be a while, granted. But, I think my wife was the one that asked me, said, well, how long do you plan to do this exercise program for? It's like, well, as long as I feel like I need to, I'm making gains on it and progress. And then I'll change it up, because I think when you do exercise, you really got to keep your exercises changing to kind of keep you motivated. Otherwise, it gets kind of stale and boring, and you're just going there and you just feel like you're working, you're like, oh, I'm just got to go work out and got to go push these weights again, and kind of gets redundant at a certain point. So after a certain point of doing this exercise program, if I feel like I'm kind of plateauing and leveling out, it's going to be time to switch it up and just find new exercises, or find different things to work, maybe different muscle groups or different ways to work the same muscle groups. But that's down the road, though. I kind of considered that, but thought, it's not even on my radar yet, because that's months down the road. I still got a ways to go with my current program before I feel like I'm maxing out. I mean, in the gym, I did have one guy that noticed, he made the comment, said, yeah, I noticed you're doing a lot of, you're doing controlled negatives there. You're doing really slow weights. And I think I'd made the comment, he was waiting for a machine I was using. He's like, oh, how many more sets you got? And I was like, oh, I got one more. I was doing like an incline bench, and I think I was doing like 60 pounds of incline bench, but I was doing like 20 reps really slow. And I got done, and I said, well, and he was a pretty big dude. And I said, well, don't make me look bad here. Don't stack on all kinds of weight. Just jokingly, he looked at me. He goes, well, you're doing slow weights. He goes, you're doing it really slow. He goes, I don't know if I can do it that slow. He goes, I'll do heavier weights, but I'm gonna do a lot quicker than you did it. And he did. He stacked on a ton of plates, and he's sitting there just punching. He's a strong dude, so just makes you look bad. You're like, oh yeah, here I am with like 10-pound weights on each side, and this guy's putting like 3 plates on each side doing this stuff. But, it's one of those things you got to check your ego at the door. Like, that's not what I'm here to do. I'm not here to be that guy that can push 3 plates on each side of any kind of exercise. I'm just here to slow, controlled, push my muscles to failure as much as I can, or close to failure as I comfortably can without risking injury. And really, the recoveries have been going good. I did add in, I know I didn't mention this in my nutrition, but maybe I talked about it, but I added in creatine, 5 milligrams a day, just to try to help with the workouts and help with that. I've done some research on that and looking into creatine, and it's a supplement worth using. So it's got a lot of positive benefits, really no side effects outside of bloating potentially with that initial taking creatine, which increases it helps your muscles cycle energy better, but it does increase kind of your water retention a little bit in the muscles. So people do complain of bloating with it. I've taken it for 5 days now and haven't noticed any of that yet, but I haven't noticed any changes with it yet because I'm still pretty fresh on using it. But that is a supplement I would recommend people get into as well, in addition to protein, like I mentioned. But that's one thing I've added in as well. So that's when I come home from work, that's when I take my creatine. No matter what time I get home, that's kind of where I fit that into my day. But yeah, exercise-wise, things have been going well. And I think it's really helped the recovery too. I feel like my muscles get sore and stay sore for about a day or so. When I first worked out back in December, I remember when I did my first workout, we went to the Y, I did a workout. I even did a light workout. Like I did the typical guy thing. I was like, I'm going to go do my biceps and my triceps, and I'll keep it light and keep it simple just to see how I do. Spent like 45 minutes doing some machines and some weights and stuff that first time out. And I could not fully bend or fully straighten my elbow for like 5 days afterwards. It was so sore and it hurt so bad. But now that, even towards the end of January here, doing this for like a month solid of pretty regular exercise, my recoveries have been pretty good too. So I think that may be just a side effect of the nutrition, multivitamin, all that stuff, really watching how I'm doing my exercise. I think if I went really kind of gung-ho on heavy weights and just trying to really go heavy with it and hard with it, more intense workouts, I might find that I would have more muscle soreness, more recovery time, and I don't think that would work for me. So yeah, with exercise, it's always finding what works for you. And I think right now the current program I have is good. So I'm month 1 is in the books. I'm pleased with the progress. So far, so good. I'm really hopeful that, if you watch the YouTube episode 1, towards the end, there's that, I put a kind of a before picture, my dad bod picture in there. Kind of embarrassing to share that on the internet, but it's out there now. It's in the internet ether. But I'm hoping that really after about even year 1, I'll do this for a year, look at the results. I'm really hoping that after picture is just like, wow, that's a huge difference. I mean, I can already tell a difference from that picture to me right now. There's already a change. It's not like a impressive, this guy needs to be marketing products for us and put him on, put him in front of everybody so he can sell products. It's not that impressive yet, but maybe someday. But for now, month 1 in the books. I'm impressed with how things are going. So just motivates me to continue, keep up with it, and keep working on this podcast. This is almost just more of a journal for me. I feel like I'm just kind of journaling, talking about the process and my experience. People choose to listen to it. I love you for it. Thank you. If not, that's fine. It's good to do this and kind of park my thoughts somewhere so that I don't have to think about it too much, and I can just park it on a podcast and come back to it later if I want to, or it can just sit there with nobody listening to it. I'm fine with it either way. If you did listen to this, I appreciate you, and I hope you have a good rest of your day. We'll be kind of doing weekly releases, just kind of going week to week at this point. Otherwise, take care.